I organized the bus to help get as many people as possible to the rally. So I wasn't driving it, but the incident occurred at one of the stops.
Okay, so let's start with the rally. You organized a bus to get people who wanted to join the protest against M103 and hopefully C16 at Parliament Hill on June 3rd to go from, where did it start? Like basically from what? From
we initiated it at Belleville, and we had a group of people who wanted to join at Kingston.
And then from Kingston drive right through to Ottawa.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so and then this would be on what day? On the Friday or the Saturday?
This was Saturday.
Saturday morning. Okay, and what happened exactly? Like, what happened?
Well, as we were approaching the location that we had preset at a preset time, folks who we knew were already there to pick them up, virtually immediately as I was pulling in, I got a text from one of the participants who were getting on the bus that said, real quick letters that ANTIFA is here. But by that time, we had already been turning into the parking lot, and I really didn't connect why that communication came through. And so as soon as we stopped the bus, some other people that we recognized were waiting to get on, but then there was other people milling around behind them, and particularly a girl who we didn't recognize from any of the previous conversations or any or any interactions online. But because there was so much discussions on various social media about who was coming and who wasn't and when they could get there and if they couldn't, we weren't 100% sure of actually who was going to show up on time. So we got the folks on the bus, and then a girl got on with them, and we closed the door, and the bus proceeded to turn around in the parking lot. And as soon as that happened, a whole band of these young kids, or whatever they were, started running over to the bus. One jumped on the front of the bus, in the front of the windshield where the driver was, trying to turn around, and he took something out of his sack, which initially it looked like a small grenade, if you will. And he stood back and he started to throw it at the front windshield of the bus, which obviously became a paintball and splattered black paint all over the front windshield.
They're trying to box us in. Hey, they're trying to box us in. Everyone take photos.
Spray paint the bus? Go, go!
Let's go. Let's go.
They're gonna try it again.
This is really crazy. I want to get off. Oh my God. No, you don't. Listen, all right. What's your name?
I want to get off this bus.
Excuse me, what's your name?
My name is Lindsay, and I want to
Okay,
get off
Lindsay,
this
we'll get
bus.
you if you want off the bus.
Of the bus system. And then there were other kids who were running around the side with spray cans. And another kid jumped on the bus, or on the mirrors. So at that time, we started to tell the driver, go, 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 don't stop, keep going. So the driver was partly in shock as well. He couldn't figure out what was going on. And we said, it's Antifa, go, go, go. So he backed up with the door closed, with these people hanging on the bus, or at least one for sure, and proceeded to leave the parking lot of the hotel location where we picked the people up. But as that was going on, there was a girl in the front, and she was screaming, let me off, let me off, let me off. And then we started saying, well, who are you? Like, why are you here? And she started to go into hysterics. And then we started to actually determine that actually she was one of them.
I want to get off.
But you're not getting off here.
He
We're
won't
not
let
leaving
me
you.
off the bus.
Yes,
Because
we're
we're not
He
leaving
won't
you
let me
here.
off the bus.
Yes.
I want to get off the bus.
Oh, wait a minute.
I want to get off the bus now.
They
Yes.
will
Stop
hurt
the bus
you.
and let me off.
Lindsay, we're not letting you out in front of Antifas.
Oh,
Stop the bus and let me off, please. I'm frightened.
we
I can't stop
Stop the bus and pull over and let me off, please. I'm
We
frightened.
can't even see.
Pull over, then. You shouldn't be driving. Pull over. It's unsafe. I'm frightened.
Well, you
Pull over!
sit down.
I'm frightened, and you should not be driving this bus. Do not pull into this street when you cannot see. This is a safe
she
spot
one of
for you to
them?
stop. Then pull over.
Who
This
is
is
this
not
I am
safe.
working on right up the
And
road.
I'm on the 401.
I don't know. I thought she was with you.
Going on the
Right
401 right there.
This
what's
is
that?
frightening.
All right. Are you?
Probably trying to get us to stop to get
Hey,
over.
Lindsay,
Yes,
how come
sir.
I don't know about you?
Because I must have gotten on the wrong bus. I'm trying to get to Whitby.
Oh,
Okay.
cry, dear, cry, cry some
Oh,
more.
Okay.
I'm betting she's not. You're on the wrong bus.
I want to get off this bus.
Okay.
Then get out.
That's so frightening.
And she realized that probably she was trapped on the bus with a bunch of patriots. So, but the bus driver wouldn't stop because he wanted to get far enough away from these activists or whatever they were. And we proceeded out on the main highway until he got a place where he could pull over. But he couldn't look out very well because his mirrors were painted with black paint and his front windscreen had paint dripping down all the way over the screen. So once we got about a few thousand feet down the highway or the ramp area, he pulled off. And then we opened the door, and the girl who was in hysterics, she jumped out of the bus and she ran back to wherever the beginning of the incident took place. And so then from there we called the police, and we were waiting probably for an hour. They did a report, took the video, copies of our video, and interviewed everybody on the bus. And then the driver called his coach company manager, and he told them about the whole incident. And from there, they decided to cancel the bus because it wasn't in suitable condition to drive. So from there, we made arrangements to get some of the folks back to their private cars. And then once we got the green light from the police, we were able to take the bus. He ended up cleaning some of it off just enough to be able to use it on the highway. And then we drove back to our original location where we started from. And we got out of the bus, collected our things, put them in our private car. And then the bus driver said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, we're going to go to the rally. He said, you're kidding. You're still going? We said, yeah, we're going to go. So we went back, we picked up the other people in their car, and we drove all the way to Ottawa. We were 3 hours late, but they weren't going to stop us. So that's basically the main story. You know, even the policeman who got on the bus to do the interviews, he was sort of shocked, and he said, like, what is all this about? You know, they had spray painted racists on the side of the bus and things like that. So, you know, he didn't really understand what it was all about. Even the bus driver, he said, like, what is this? What are you guys doing? He said, we're going to Ottawa rally. And so, well, why are these people doing this? So, you know, we explained all of the issues about what's going on with this M103, and people are really starting to become upset with this restrictions on free speech. And, you know, there are groups of us that are standing up and saying, you know, this is not acceptable and we're not going to put up with it. And we're going to do something about it. And so we have to start somewhere. And just the fact that we have these instigators, and they're not only here, they were in Ottawa when we got there, not with us, but with other groups. And it's kind of obvious that it's connected. Obviously, somewhere there's an underground or dark net connection somewhere. We don't know precisely, but there's something going on. Yeah. Well, I think, in our case, it had more to do with, we were just making a 5-minute stop to pick people up. So we determined internally that basically, somebody was monitoring the social conversations and looking at timelines, because it was very unexpected for 6 or 8 masked young people to come running around the back of a building out of nowhere with spray cans and jumping on the bus. It was quite surreal when you haven't experienced that before. And we had a lady on the bus. I mean, she was probably 65 years old with a cane right at the front, and she was right in the middle of this. And it's just like, there's just no respect for anybody. I mean, not especially someone who's served the country for 65 years. I mean, it's just it's insane, really.